Jen Klobnak is here. Jen is this year's chair of the Salvation Army's Tree of Lights. Happy New Year to you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
You look very wintry. You got your nice sweater on, your Kansas City Chiefs jacket. You're looking ready. You're ready for the snow.
It's cold outside.
Talk to me about, I want to start back. The beginning of the campaign, I think remind me, was it November?
Starts around 1st of November.
First of November. Mm-hmm. So we always announce a number.
Yep.
Where does that number come from?
That number, we're looking for $2.2 million.
Yeah, but where does it come from?
Where does it come from?
Out of the air?
Yep. No, it's we look at different sources of funding. Some funding comes from the state or from different grants and things,
right.
And then there's the gap of what's left. And we look at what services we provide, the cost of those services in terms of staff, Army staff, as well as I'll call them civilians, so
right.
Other staff that work at the Army. Contemplate how many volunteers we can count on as well. The cost of food, the cost of the physical buildings. We try to provide as much help with utilities and things of that nature as well. So we add up what we've spent in the past to help people, and we look forward and say, what are the trends? The trends these days are not great. So we continue to have more clients, which is not a good thing, but it means that there is a growing need, and so we kind of calculate that number out of the actual need. So it's not made up, and it's not like nice to have.
It's not pie in the sky.
No, it's really what we need. Yeah.
Right.
And then you have to follow trends and project. Mm-hmm. But the number of people, the needs, seems to be going up and up, and that's hard to project, but it is going up.
It is, and it actually went up surprisingly last year, really with the inflation situation and kind of government assistance coming to an end in some places, and so our projections were off, really. Which shows you have to be ready for anything. But the key with the Army is no matter what the need is, they're going to find a way to meet it. Because they want to serve everybody.
So you got the 2.2 goal that you've determined, and you mentioned this. So some funding is set by entities like governments and things like that. But then we have things like bell ringing.
Yes.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Bell ringing is, first of all, one of the, I mean this in all due respect, like a romantic part of Christmas is when you go to a store and you see somebody ringing the bell. And hats off to many of my bell ringers this year. Many of them were dancing and singing. There was a lot of enthusiasm, right? So how much does that represent of the 2.2? Yeah, 'cause that's just us giving $5, $10, $50 or whatever.
Yep, right? It's a little less than 10% of what we raise.
Well, that's a lot, though. Really.
It gets the word out, and it gets people thinking about it, which is very helpful.
Right.
Now, you look at also how many people go to the store nowadays versus just shop. There's how many boxes come to your house,
Right.
And so you worry about, the shift. And so we do have online red kettles now as well. So I think I've set up an online red kettle. I think I know a few other people who have. And so that's another way to get the word out and help. And
then we've talked corporately. Corporately, there are organizations in our communities who find their need filled by going to the Salvation Army and saying, "Hey, we want to contribute to something, and we know what you do, and it's good, and so we would like to do something." What is the nature of that? Is that usually a one-time, hey, we're going to give you $50,000, or is it, hey, through the year we want to support you? How does it go?
It varies by the company and the organization, but the key is a lot of employees have interests, right? They spend their personal time doing things.
Sure.
And so as a company, you look at what can we support that will be meaningful to our employees. And so a lot of times it involves also volunteer time, which is great. There's a lot of great team building that can happen when you're together helping people and making a difference, and you feel a sense of accomplishment doing that. And so it's best if you marry both the volunteer time with some financial donation. And what's nice about it is, too, as you volunteer, you see where are your funds going. And
you see it in action. Yeah. So as we sit here today, it's January 10th.
Yeah.
The campaign, for folks who are not hip to this, the Tree of Lights campaign always goes towards the end of January, if not end of January. Yep. That's always the plan. And so you try to hit that 2.2 at the end of January. Are we on track to do that? Is that a fair question to ask you? What if we don't get there? I know you already said services are going to be provided no matter what, but what's the reality where we are right now?
Well, as the chair, I feel a lot of pressure to make it happen, right? And so,
sure you do.
So I'm nervous.
We want to help you.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And you're right. It goes through the end of January, which, a lot of people, and there's a lot of communication up through December, and then it kind of goes quiet. People get back to work. They're done with the holidays. So it's hard to keep the momentum going, but it does represent the fact that services are actually provided every single day of the year.
Right.
And so as things go quiet in January and as the temperature gets down to 10 degrees, we've got warming shelters, we've got homeless
Both
people.
you and the Dream Center,
Yeah.
I know, are preparing for extra people over, especially early next week. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then you go to July and now it's too hot. And so every month, every day, there are needs that are happening. And so the fact that we're still talking about it in January is nice because we want to remind people that the need is there every single day of the year.
Yeah, Dan and I talk about the Salvation Army frequently on our show. And that's one thing in June and July. We always say, hey, you're not seeing the red kettle. No, you don't have that little reminder. So let us be your reminder.
Yeah.
And we should get bells. That's
Yeah,
what we should.
yeah.
I just
We
thought
should
of
get
that. We
bells.
should get bells. and be the reminder that the person that's short of food to eat with their family or just suddenly found themselves homeless or whatever the need is, you guys are doing it every day, 365.
And some people have this conception of homeless. Well, it's the person's fault, this and that. But it's amazing how many people are tootling along and have a medical emergency or something,
Doesn't take much.
and it just turns, and they find themselves shocked out of a home.
Yeah, it's interesting. I forget if it was May or June, we had a big food drive where we gave out a box of food to people, and people showed up in nice cars to get food because while they happen to have the car, during high inflation and whatever financial issues they had going on, they were embarrassed but asked, hey, I actually need the food for my family. And so it's surprising the type of clients that we have sometimes.
All right, so today, because we want to push this past the 2.2, what is the ask? I'm going to say something that I think is the ask. If you're a corporate person, if you're a business owner or a manager of some kind, and you have it in your budget or heart or both to do something as we kick off 2024, this is the thing to do. And what do they physically do then? Call somebody or contact you? What do they do?
You can call the Army, or you can go online at sapeoria.org.
Okay.
And it's very easy. Even I can do it. I'm not very technology. I'm like Dan. I have no technical skills, but I, no offense. But I was even able to, navigate the website, set up my own kettle. And so if you go out there, it's very easy to donate, and you can do that as often as you want.
Even corporately?
Even corporately, you can do that.
You can do it that way?
Or you can contact the Army. And what's nice then is you could ask about, what else can I get a team in there to do something? And so, you can always get a group together and do a meal one night a week or even once, just to see what happens.
Well, good luck. When will we know when is the actual end of it?
So the celebration is on February the 5th at Northwoods Mall at 5 o'clock. So it's down in Center Court there. We've got a big, a kettle almost as big as this room there that we're going to have just to celebrate. But the campaign does run through the end of the month, so we appreciate any help that the community can provide at this point.
Let's make sure it happens. 2.2, we can do that. We can do that. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck to the Chiefs. We just talked about it a little bit ago. She's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. It could be the coldest game on record in the NFL on Saturday. When
even more than the famed Bart Starr frozen tundra.
I was thinking about that today. We got beat up with the propaganda of that. That darn NFL Films thing. Remember on that guy's voice and all that stuff. As little kids, we just that must have been like playing on the moon or something. It was bad. But it's not going to be as bad. Or it's going to be worse on Saturday, I think.
Well, I'm going to find somebody with Peacock and somewhere warm. And see if I can.
Hunker down.
I think
and
that's
enjoy
called
the game.
a bar.
Yeah, you should go to a bar. It's good to see you. Thank you very much,
Thank
Jen.
you.
We appreciate it.